2, 1. Alright, let me pull the website up. Should probably do that. TrainingForceNetwork.com. Alright, so welcome to game 3 of Battle Arena. Sorry, it's been a little hectic tonight, but if you don't know what Battle Arena is, or this is your first time tuning in, it's every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for players Gold 1 and below to receive feedback on their gameplay, and ladder through Gold, Platinum, Diamond, and beyond. We have the same thing every Saturday at noon Eastern Time. We have Bronze Boot Camp. Same thing, but it's for Silver 5 and lower, so it's a safe place for, I don't know, if people in Battle Arena are a little too high, or if you want to play other Bronze people, it's same concept, but against other players who are probably newer to the game. We also have a lot of podcasts and just things going on in general. I don't even know what to call everything now. Check it out at TrainingForceNetwork.com. Under About, we have the T-Force Network, LCS Rundown, Oslo, Forwards, and Sheenbox. Schedule for when all these things happen. Battle Arena tab. 2 sign-up sheets for Battle Arena. Looks like this. Bronze Boot Camp. Earlier you sign up, we do the invite list in order. The more priority you have for queue, and the more likely you're to end up on the main stream. Also have a community tab. Feel free to join us on TeamSpeak and Reddit/r T-Force Network. A lot of good stuff here. A post about the RP giveaway for Battle Arena and Bronze Boot Camp. I will be announcing the winner after all these games. And we also have a... Ooh, I can't find it. Here. T-Force RPG roundup. We have Dungeons and Dragons. Leshok is joining me from that, so maybe he can tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, we are doing several different weekly games of tabletop RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, and several others. There's a sign-up sheet for getting involved with that, either to run or play the games. With no experience necessary, we teach you. You come and play. We've got several games up already in a YouTube playlist that we've been doing. It's been a lot of weird and goofy fun.
And I posted a link to that in chat. So if any of that interests you, feel free to check it out. Picks and bans, some weird stuff. I don't stress on it too much because I don't really think it matters that much, but the Pantheon's certainly different.
Someone just obviously doesn't like to play against Pantheon. Alright. Let's see, we got locking in here so far. Vladimir, Poppy, and Tryndamere on blue team.
Interesting. I think Beaver will be playing. I don't know where they'll be going. One of them has to jungle. None of these champions can play bot lane. Unless it's Poppy support.
Isn't Beaver one of our resident Poppy players?
I don't know if he plays as support though.
Well, it looks like it's jungle Tryndamere, so it's probably going to be top Poppy at that point.
Do you need a doctor? Yeah, kind of wait for picks to come in. I used to talk about champions a lot, but I don't really think meta matters that much for solo queue. So, unless some of you first pick something really aggressive, like, I don't know, Annie or Zed, it's really matchup dependent. Not a big deal. We do have a couple of matchups locked in. I'm going to assume it's Vladimir mid and Poppy top. So Poppy into Maokai is, like every Poppy lane, hard for Poppy. It's one of the less hard lanes, which is a positive. But really, I've told Beaver this quite a few times, but I'd really like to see him take teleport. Poppy's somebody who can, 1, get pushed out of lane early, 2, could really benefit from a camp start, and 3, just would probably have really good home guard ganks. You can't kill people either, unless they misplay really hard early game. I don't see the rationale behind Ignite on Poppy. And same on Vladimir, I don't see why you take Ignite on Xerath. Xerath really is to misplay for you to kill him as Vladimir. But maybe the summoner spells will change, so we won't stress on that too much. We'll just talk about matchups.
Yeah.
Mid lane, Vlad into Xerath. I kind of talked about that a little bit. Xerath bodies Vladimir really hard. Xerath is one of the reasons Vladimir wasn't played in mid lane for a long time, and Xerath falling out of meta kind of let Vlad come back. But Vlad's spells are all very short ranged, and Vlad's susceptible to eating a lot of harass, and Xerath's really good at both of those things. Vladimir can start boots and kind of outplay the matchup some, but he needs to start boots and dodge some skill shots.
Yeah, he's going to need to have his dancing shoes on, because even with his sustain, it's really easy for Xerath to poke him out, and with Xerath's passive, keep his own mana up to stay in lane.
Yeah,
Alright.
And we'll look at jungle matchup. Rek'Sai, really strong early game. Been a meta pick for a while. Scales pretty well in the mid and late game. Should really body Tryndamere in the early game. 1 second. My dog is not happy. Should just have a lot better ganks early. Tryndamere struggles to clear. Seen Hawk jungle a couple of times too. Really don't like the teleport on Tryndamere. He benefits from Flash Ghost a lot. On Ezreal, what is the reason between... I'll answer that in a second, Andrew. Bot lane, Lucian Morgana against Thresh Ezreal. Skill matchup, I'll be right back.
Alright, so let's take a look there. Well, for just a moment, while Horse Doctor attends to his dog.
Alright, so most Thresh matchups are skill matchups, and same with Morg. It comes down to who hits binds, if Morg black shields, dashes hooks, and E's correctly. If Lucian hits Qs on Ezreal, if Ezreal hits Qs on Lucian. Everything in this is a skill matchup, so I really don't have a lot to say. I will say that there's more raw power on the side of Lucian Morgana, just as far as base stats and base damage early game goes, so they probably win that lane. In chat, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, go ahead, answer that question first.
Oh, Andrew Lowe, on Ezreal, what was the reason for taking Tier or Triforce? Tier scales better. Tier is really good late game item to have. Good AD, a lot of damage, really good 3-item power spike. Allows you to spam your spells late game, which sometimes you can't do on Ezreal late game if you don't get blue buff, which you probably won't get with Xerath. That being said, Tier delays Trinity by a couple of minutes, and sometimes even more than that. And it delays Sheen, and it delays Phage. So you just have to consider, can I be greedy and not be strong early, and can I be greedy and get my Trinity Force later? If the answer to both of those questions is yes, then Tier build is good, but it's iffy.
So, what do you think here, looking at these matchups of how team fights will look?
I think Purple Team is a really good team fight comp. I like Maokai, I like Xerath. Thresh can be useful if played well. Rek'Sai is strong, and Ezreal will scale, and they have a really good front line for Ezreal. Ezreal doesn't have, he kind of has burst, but he doesn't really have burst. He really wants to get 5 stacks on his passive, get stuff rolling, and get auto attacks going, and clean up a fight. So I like their comp a lot. Red team on the other hand is Poppy. I really don't see what she does here. It's going to be difficult to ult Xerath or Ezreal, but if she can get a ult on Xerath, she can be useful. And blue team just has win lane, win game to me.
Yeah, purple team also, with the poke that they can get between Ezreal and with Xerath, can lead to good sieging as well.
You don't have a lot of CC. That's what I'm worried about. Vladimir only has slowness W, Poppy has a wall stone, and Tryndamere has a slow, but Lucian doesn't have CC. Trend, Poppy, and Vlad barely do. Morg has bind, but they really don't have a lot of CC in their comp. Or engage. I don't see how they engage, which is the most worrisome. I'm not mad at him. There's people outside, Andrew. I really can't do anything about that. But the most worrisome thing for me is engage. And people stress having a tank. Sometimes it's not just important to have a tank. It's important to have somebody who can engage team fights. We'll look at, a siege scenario here. Imagine Xerath, Maokai, and stuff walking up to the tower. Ooh, plat border. But, how do they engage? How do they kill Xerath? Alright, so Vladimir, not the best engaged. Tryndamere, not the best engaged. Both kited very easily. Poppy, kind of easy to play around. I don't see how they engage besides binds. I mean, they have to go for, some ridiculous split push, catch people in the jungle, outplay lanes, pick comp. I don't even know what they have to do.
I mean, the closest thing that they really have to an engage is they have a moment. If they land a good Morgana binding, they know that they want to go in, but how they go in is nothing short of just running straight at the enemy team, and not something I recommend to get when Fresh can drop his box and Maokai can frontline for purple team.
That being said, you do have a lot of champions that do really well with item advantage. So if you win lane, things look a little better. But I've won some really ridiculous games with really bad team comps in solo queue. But if your team comp is really bad and you fall behind early game, it's really hard to win.
Alright, well,
in the game. Talked about this in the previous 2 games. Really, we talked about skilling at level, and we'll talk about runes. So when your opponent walks in the lane, it's important to click on their character portrait, and you can kind of see what runes they're running, and it kind of tells you how you want to play lane. If I were to walk into bot lane and I were to play against Morgana, I'd see 614, so she has a little bit of health on her runes likely. 21 AP, so she has some AP quints, pretty normal Morgana support. And the big thing here is 25 armor. She doesn't have armor yellows. Really, really scary to play bot lane without armor yellows. Against Thresh Ezreal, she may kind of get away with it, but like, it's almost like cheating. I mean, you can use OPGG and it doesn't matter. But for those of you who don't, or those of you who just want to learn more about the game, just clicking a portrait, looking at their runes. It's pretty important. Vlad, I don't like the... I guess Vlad can go scaling runes, so it's okay. But the rest of the runes are pretty standard. On Rexa, I don't go armor, I go scaling health. But scaling health, you kind of need to know about jungle roots. Rexa just has a lot of sustain. Brad gives him health regen. He's pretty good at taking Scuttle Crab, which gives you quite a bit of health. And his Burrow helps with health a lot, so you can be a little more greedy with your runes. And I think a lot of people in general have been doing scaling health or scaling armor on their runes lately for supports. So none of their runes look too bad here. And for Maokai here, okay, good, they paused. For those of you out in Streamland, or those of you who've been watching this VOD on YouTube in 2 or 3 days who are new to the Trinity Force Network, these are always tournament drafts. So if somebody somebody DCs, you can pause. It is not like solo queue. Sadly. Well, sadly you can't pause in solo queue.
Oh. Yeah, we want to give a positive learning environment.
God damn it. Alright. Thresh, one thing I see is coin start. Been seeing a lot more coin lately since the buff. I still don't think it's a really strong item, especially against Morg, Lucian. Morg has Ignite, and you now become a kill target. If we look at Thresh, she has 689 health, 29 armor. Not super squishy, but if Morgana does hit a bind with Ignite, Lucian has a lot of early game damage. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be a bind target in this lane. Can we get a Kobe every time Xerath hits an ult? If he hits 2 or 3 really good ults, I'll give you a Kobe. If he goes 1 for 3 every time, I'm not going to give you a Kobe.
The Kobe's must be earned.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe doesn't go 1 for 3. It's got to be straight buckets. So, anyone out there in Streamland, if you have any ideas on who you think is going to win this game, or if you just have any questions to kind of keep the discussion going, feel free to continue. What's up,
Alright.
Blue Flama?
Looks like we got the reconnect going on, and resume in 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh boy, my emotions have not got DC'd. And there's a lot of talk in all chat. Don't mind it at all. T-Force community is full of a lot of friendly players. The one thing I will say is, please make sure the talk remains friendly. These games are purely to learn. If you're raging in these, gonna get a 2-week ban. It's against the rules. And if you see somebody raging in these, screenshot it. Even if it doesn't bother you, it ruins the experience for a lot of players who may not speak up for themselves. So just do the right thing. Like when they teach you when you're a child in school, watching somebody be bullied is just as bad as bullying itself. So just help us remove trolls from the community, I guess. screenshot. Add me in game, I can look at it, or you can send it to feedback at Trinity Force Podcast.
Any of us are more than glad to take a look at such those things because we want to ensure a positive community full of positive players.
Yeah, cap's not cool. Alright, 2 first. I like this. One note I'll make, they were kind of pinched up against the wall. I would like to see Bind kind of match the wall. They were here. If Bind goes here, they really don't have a lot of room to dodge. Shooting off seems awkward to me. And in this lane, you can Bind Thresh. Lucian is so strong in lane, he doesn't have to worry about Ezreal unless he's eating Qs. Bottom up boots, though, that's good. He really needs to watch Eing when he doesn't need to E, though. Eing to CS is losing health in this lane, which isn't what he wants to be doing.
And first blood.
Q.
Now first blood?
Yeah.
Okay, now first blood.
Alright, so one, I would have liked to see go River there. I don't really see why you go here. You give Poppy more room to run. If she would have Ghost like most Poppies, she probably would have got out. But other note I'll make there is Maokai, be careful when you stand against a wall on Poppy. I know you don't play a lot against Poppy, probably. But it's like Vayne, you just need to watch walls.
And if when you're playing on Rex side, like that was a great opportunity and moment to gank. Just practice some with your tunnels because that would have gone a lot more smoothly, and you wouldn't have had to have burned flash if you had been able to tunnel correctly through the wall. But your tunnel kind of just took you alongside of it. That's just something that you're going to practice and pay attention to.
But really close thing. I don't know. I don't drill people for slight mechanical misplays. I think game knowledge is the focus of BA, so I won't harp on that too much.
No, absolutely.
Maokai, I really like getting the green, getting the pink. Gotta kill, but I mean you got assist, but you weren't greedy with it. Good job keeping items. And the 2 Dorms is one of my favorite Maokai builds. Remember to auto Poppy back when she does that though. She shouldn't be getting free harass on you. Vlad, you really want to play off the wave here. The worst thing that can happen to you is Xerath hits you with harass and hits the caster creeps at the same time, or CS's. When you play off the wave with boots, you make Xerath choose between farming the lane and trying to hit a Vladimir with boots off the creep wave, which is a little difficult. So, and just don't let him kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Basically what I'm saying. And Andrew certainly, if Xerath kills more than 1 person with his ultimate, that is a Kobe moment. Oh, pretty standard. Poppy's got a pretty heavy consumable start, which is normal for Poppy as well. In Rek'Sai, sometimes I drill people for not getting boots or jungle item, but the changes to Bomby actually made it pretty good at farming, so. I don't like how Crack Salad played that there. He had flash, he could have just killed Thresh, but it looks like Trinity will take care of it. Oh, the flash bind. That was nice. That's a good play, and that's something I don't see a lot of Morganas do at lower elo, but like, if it's 100% kill, if you flash bind, whereas your bind may miss if it isn't, a lot of times you just want to take the flash bind. Oh, Beaver. That wasn't 100%, but I respect it. And Vlad went Megatron, that's good.
That was a good job there with the... When Ray's Shaman ganked mid lane, and they stacked their CCs really well to be ready for Xerath to hit Vlad with his E the second he came out of pool.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good job.
And last 2 games I've casted, I've mentioned the warding a lot. Warding in this game is quite a bit better, looking at the mini-map and just looking at inventories. And the average elo of the last 2 games was probably about silver 5. I would say this game is probably in the gold end. And like, gold players don't just walk into a game and become better than silver players every game. It's small things, and you're really noticing the small things here. Item buys are a little better, more wards. CS is a little better. Just stuff like that. And Maokai killed Poppy. I didn't see what happened there, but given that Maokai's half health, I'm just going to assume that Poppy overstayed. Maokai killed her without flashing. That's pretty unexcusable. Oh, is he going to get a Kobe moment? There, just ult. Alright.
I think that's a Kobe.
Alright, Kobe!
Oh no, careful.
Yeah, next thing I know, it's gonna be a soundbite on the Reddit. Trinity Jungle's so hard to play early. And his page leads me to believe that he's a lot of attack speed. If you play Trinity Jungle, go attack speed Reds and attack speed Quints. The page will be 29%, but it's pretty standard on people like Trinity or Master E. That was Shaq, he hit 1 out of 3. He killed someone with it though.
No, he hit the first one, and then missed the second one, and then held the third for the kill.
That's actually signature Kobe, because Kobe shoots like a low percentage, but he always makes the clutch shot. And Zero shot a low percentage, but he made the clutch shot. Kobe takes a lot of bad shots. Alright. So, Ezreal's coming back on CS to get a little bit against Lucian. We talked about the Trinity versus the tier. Really like that he skips tier this game. Behind in CS and playing a strong early game champion, you just can't give up that much priority. And the health from Phage is going to keep him alive if something bad does happen here. Like I said, Thresh is a target, and if you just notice Morgana, Q, W, he takes a lot of damage with this coin build. Rex is level 6 though, and he's exerting a lot of pressure on the map. Don't like him ganking Vladimir this close to tower all the time, but Xerath is out of mana too. I don't know. I would just camp like the ever-living crap out of this Poppy. Even if you gank Poppy and she's to burn ult, and it's kind of annoying because she runs and gets away, Poppy with that ult has like no kill potential. And Poppy wants to get like kills with her ult to come back into the game. And there are champions like that, I don't know, like if you gank mid against an Annie, and she flashes, it might suck. But Annie with that flash is a lot weaker. So you actually do a lot, even though it doesn't seem like it sometimes. He's ganking Vlad because Vladimir's out of mana. Alright, I can dig it. Anybody played a vampire in D&D yet?
Santana is actually a partial vampire.
Partial, what the fuck does that mean?
It means he's a wannabe.
Alright.
That's the best way I could think to describe a dampier, as it's put. It means he's just broody and doesn't like the light.
What I kind of talked about before the game is happening. Rek'Sai is exerting a lot of pressure on the map. And this is kind of what Rek'Sai does. He gets like... He's on 3 to 4 kills at 10 minutes, gets a dragon, and just kind of is useful mid to late game. And he wins games like that. But he's hitting his win positions. I like the build too.
Can Morg do it? So close, actually.
Ooh,
oh,
so greedy. So this Morg, you have a couple things to think about right there. One, you don't have follow-up damage. Also, you're level 5, so you don't have ultimate, and you used your QW, so you just have Ignite auto. 2, you didn't see Thresh Lantern, so you need to account for that shield, and that's what really burned you there. Always. Gotta have that sixth sense. You're playing shield champs or heal champs. Playing a Lux, you need to assume she has 200 more health than she does. Thresh, it's 100.
So in your opinion, in that fight there, Vladimir chased Thresh further up into the jungle and used his ult to get the kill on him. Would it have been better served for Vladimir to turn and kind of make that more of a skirmish in the river with everyone?
Yeah,
or would it?
So. I think it would have been a good play. I don't know, like hunting Thresh down is cool, but
Yeah, I mean,
Could've done
definitely
more.
he got the kill. That's gold, and you can never underestimate that. Just
Mhm.
wasn't sure if that had been better served with the way that that was turning into a fight in the river, because Vladimir's ult is definitely better with friends around.
I think the Thesh's build is really greedy. Yeah, I think he got Night punished for it there. No Sightstone. He's going the bad bow, move speed build. Interesting. This is. You need to like address how much gank assist you have and how much like kill pressure you actually have when you gank a lane. It's difficult. It is real low. Oh, you can kind of see how squishy the dash is there. They played the 2v2 really well. He keeps getting bailed out by his team playing stuff really well. The other team is playing. Like, Leshok can 5-shot him, which isn't good.
Going back so I can watch that hill here.
Trinimir's Avarice. Alright, so Trinimir, you're kind of losing a lot of pressure against Rek'Sai. So, I guess the two schools of thought were cut my losses and try and farm, which I think he's trying to do with the Avarice Blade, or make myself as useful as I can right now. I would prefer the latter. I don't think Rek'Sai is going to stop anytime soon. But oh, no. Interesting. I don't know why Zereth flashed there. They don't really have CC to follow up, and he could have just queued. Trinimir going for the Ricing build. Yeah. You need boots to Rice, you gotta get to camps faster. He also has 50 CS at 1430. I don't think he's Ricing too hard. So Beaver has a couple of options here. Actually, no he doesn't. So, if the lane ends up like this as a top laner, your two options are freeze or push. And you can slow push or fast push, but we'll do something basic. We'll do freeze or push. If you TP, freeze is really viable because you can starve the other top laner at a farm for a long time, and you can still get two objectives. So you're basically exerting gold pressure on the map. If you don't take TP like Beaver, your options are kind of limited, and starting a slow push is your best bet. Especially if you can start a slow push on one cannon, and set it up so that like by the end of your slow push you have a double cannon wave. You usually take tower by itself and you can just leave it or something. I really respect how well this Rek'Sai is doing, but I'd like to see blues and Xerath. Xerath is pretty fed as well. He's 105 with Morales. Wow. No fear. Rip. So Rek'Sai, you A-click on top of your target. If you're always auto-attacking on top, in front of them, you're not covering as much distance as you can. If you A-click kind of on top of them and walk behind them with each auto, you would have closed enough distance to get the kill there. You may have died too, but if you cleaned it up a little bit mechanically, it could have gone better. There a dunk solution again. I don't know if that's racist. No, it's not racist.
I mean, if you have to ask yourself.
So Poppy's taking blue. I don't like this play. I think Trent just needs EXP too badly. It's okay, but Makai's in like a position where Poppy can't ever deal with him again though, which isn't good for her. Good job on Morgana. I like that you have a pink. You have your 3 core support items. Sometimes you have bad games, but it's important to stick to the plan. Comebacks don't happen by giving up, so keep doing your best. I respect it.
And even in bad game that you're losing, practicing good behaviors will only help you get better.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, like, if you take somebody at X Elo, we'll say, like, Silver 5, you're not just gonna keep winning until you get to Gold 5. You need to be Gold 5 skill level to get to Gold 5. So even if you lose, you can still increase your skill level, and a lot of that's just by I don't know, working on things, being constructive, even in good games, even in bad games. Wow. Wow. Alright, good play by Tryndamere. Really don't like the Rek'Sai being there. Think he, one, should have popped the health pot, and two, he should have warded this bush for himself to make it easier to auto-attack Tryndamere if that did happen. He has Sightstone, so he's an excuse not to be ward walking there. Ward walking. Another mistake out of Rek'Sai here. Really don't like the boots of mobility at 18 minutes. If you look at the other team, Poppy, Tryndamere, Lucian, and we talked about their lack of CC. I think ninjas would make him really tanky in this game. Godhood.
Oh.
And Morgana, sometimes you just need to let your teammates die. Beaver split pushing top some. Catching up some. He really wants to get his Trinity Force, but he's gonna finish his Sheen. And like what I talked about at Ezreal with the tier, although Poppy does a good tier, you kind of see the effects of getting Trinity Force a lot later in the game than you want to be getting it. It can be very hard. Really like to see Vladimir have some decisiveness in his build. I think against Xerath you go Cowl. I don't understand Megatron. I guess you can build into Abyssal later. I like Abyssal more than Spirit Visage on Vlad most of the time, but I think Cowl can really help landing phase, and if you go Cowl, you just go Visage. But I would like to see him go like Cowl and then finish his life down Spell Vamp item. He needs to finish something. I mean, he finished Abyssal now, but now Hourglass is a really awkward buy because he needs to save for Rod. Woda's kind of an awkward buy because he needs more mid-game. When Xerath gets Ludens, they're not in a good place, are they? But Rek'Sai really needs to get to Xerath blue.
Whew.
When you go Sightstone Aegis, you don't take blues. Good exhaust out of Thresh, and good hook. Kind of one of the issues of playing Tryndamere right here. Confidence supports the play like that, so kudos on you, Thresh. Good knockup out of Rek'Sai. He may still die for it, but really remember to pop those health pots. I'm seeing Rek'Sai die in a lot of these fights, and he's not using his health pots. Remember that they are 150 health, so like not using a health pot in a 15-second long fight is essentially not having a Ruby Crystal. It's pretty big.
Vladimir.
Oh. Alright.
Oh.
So when you go for a play like that, click on top of the wall, look for the shortest distance to the wall, and then click. So he was here, and he tried to click over here, and missed it. If I were him, I would have clicked on this like blade of grass, and then gone for it, kind of like this. But if you can get halfway through the wall, you get through the wall. He just went for like the fattest part, and it looks like he missed it like that. I don't know how this wall is coded though. I don't know if it's coded like an actual 3D wall or if this counted as part of the wall.
That's one of the trickier walls, I know that much.
You just click really close to it and then go. Sometimes it's harder if you have to go fast, but he didn't really have to go that fast there.
They get the Maokai?
So I don't like challenging Smite to start here, and Maokai played around it pretty well because he held his skills. I'd wait until Maokai pops ult, and he gets to a point where you think he needs to, like, I don't know, detonate ult, but leading with challenging Smite isn't, like, how you want to use it most of the time. That's what you get chilling Smite for. That's just doing a really good job with Lantern, though. He's got the corn. Ezra's kind of catching up again too, so good job. I think blue team's starting to struggle, and one of the biggest reasons they're struggling is you look at Maokai, good ward purchases, Rek'Sai, Pank, Thresh at Pank. Talking about the overall level of this game being higher, red team's really showing it. Looking at the vision on their map, some controlled wards, good tunnel, and they did what I talk about a lot, and this is something you'll see if you watch High Elo solo queue. Warding out one portion of the jungle and playing to that side, and that's really what they did there. And if you look at blue team, they can't see anything. Tryndamere's not smiting wraiths. Raptors, as they're now called. They only have one tier 1 sweeper. Really going to be hard for them to clear this vision out. And Rek'Sai, really good job with warding this out too. Really impressed with red team's warding.
So is there anything that you think that blue team can do at this point? Like, what can they be attempting to do right now to try and get back in this?
So I talked about the vision. You know that they were just in that part of the jungle, but you can kind of assume from where the Ezreal came from, and some other stuff that they're not now. So get some sweepers, re-establish vision in your jungle, and just try and farm. Sometimes you get to farm and hope the other team throws a little bit, but re-establishing vision is the bare minimum. And in all honesty, I don't want to diss slow elo, but it's not incredibly hard to re-establish vision against people who aren't like tabbing and checking where you are all the time. So I'm not sure what Ezra's going for next. I would like to see either Blade or BT probably. They're both good. Not a lot of armor out of blue side. Blade has a little more dueling, but BT's defensive, and defensive may be what he needs. His team already has enough damage, and being able to stay alive for a little bit longer against Vladimir Morg Trend Poppy would be nice. Really, like the big point or takeaway for blue team though, if they do want to come back, is they really need to sweep out. I don't see. I'm going to show the red team's vision here. I don't see how you come back from this. But at least they got the playing safe portion of it, and they are playing safe. And Rek'Sai did just kind of die there. So
they had to use everything though.
Yeah, he could have popped Locket. He also could have had the different boots. It's a lot of tricky things. And I don't know. Like if you blow 2 or 3 ults for, even 4 ults for a kill, it's not that big a deal. Usually you're gonna win the 5v4 afterwards anyway, unless you're playing a wombo comp and you really need the ults. But I have to deal with that misconception a lot, and it's, I don't know. Like even if you kill one person, 3 ults is usually worth. And don't type in chat, they use 3 ults on me, you guys need to fight them. What the hell are you doing? Like, they use 3 ults on you for a reason. You need to not be there. So I'm gonna look at skill maxes. Everything seems pretty standard across the board. Now the Morgana max in pool second. The support Morg, you really want to get that E. Support Morg isn't really played for the pool. Getting cooldown, getting more shield on the E is pretty game breaking, especially against the Xerath.
Ooh.
Really. So, like, it is really hard for Beaver to play this fight. Look at this bush. This is kind of where they ran back into. No ward for him. Really, blue team's getting punished by vision. Look at their vision in this team fight. Where are we at? Blue.
Yeah.
Beaver is here. What does he see? What does he do? Like, I don't know. It's like a Monster Hunter movie. Those movies are in the dark for a reason, because it's way harder to hunt monsters in the dark. If it was in the light, it wouldn't be an interesting movie. They'd probably just kill the monsters pretty easily. Pitch Black. That's one of my favorite movies. Have you seen that?
Of course, it was Vin Diesel's intro movie, and
that's good.
Yeah,
I like Chronicles of Riddick too. It's gotten some hate, but if you kind of turn your brain off, it's a cool movie.
No, I'm a fan of it. A little favorite trivia I have about Chronicles of Riddick is that Vin Diesel is actually a big D&D player, and he got the main cast to play D&D while they were filming.
Oh, I sent you that thing, the Vin Diesel guided Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes!
That's so creepy.
He actually wrote the introduction to the 25th anniversary book.
Nice.
So, let's see. Back in League of Legends land.
Yeah, Makai, I really like to see Frozen Heart. One, nobody else on your team is really going to build it. Rex has a manless jungle, and Dush is probably looking at Mikhail's or some other items. Oh, he really needs to not be able to build ambulance. But Makai just loves Frozen Heart. Really likes the CDR. Likes the mana, likes the armor. See what else develops. Everything else is pretty standard.
Oh.
So Xerath, you just want to ult here and recall. I think staying to E is kind of greedy. I guess they don't really have anyone who's long range, so you can chill and E. Kind of goes back to the lack of engage I talked about before the game. Xerath can stay at 20% health because they don't have any way to get through the fight and punish him. I've won a lot of solo queue games with not having a lot of tanks. I mean, you in bronze, I don't know. You get frustrated because people are picking Ribbon and Yasuo and Vayne on the same team together. It still happens in Diamond, but you can win those games. The games that are difficult to win are the games where you don't have engage. Because if you're winning, they can come back and you don't have engage. And if you're losing, you don't really have a comeback mechanism and you just get rolled and sieged.
I mean, Poor Beavers doesn't know where he wants. Wow, still comes out of that.
So. Really seeing it though. Like, Xerath's been in this with. Ooh, really smart. I'm glad he didn't turn there. Good peace of mind. Health pop though, not burning. Same thing as Rek'Sai, 150 health. Could have burned him if Felician got back into auto range. If he had the health pot, he could have taken 2 autos, but he only had room for 1, although he lived.
Yeah,
I really don't like the cloak. I think you just buy a dagger there, or a longsword.
That would... Andrew is right. That was 2 ult hits. That was a Kobe.
Alright. Kobe. Rek'Sai's farming. I don't like this. I will say if you want to farm side lanes as a jungle, you really need to understand lane control. Because if you just go to the lane and farm it and you don't snowball it to pressure it and then do something in the map, and you just kind of like hard reset it, you deny so many waves from your carry. Like, you either snowball it and you take something in the map, or you farm out one wave, wait for your wave to thin a little bit, and then like freeze it back so it pushes back into you so carry can get it again in a minute or 2. It's good lane management. Bad lane management is just walking down to the front wave, like killing, I don't know, 3 lines of creeps in a row and then leaving it. And it goes here and it hits another wave, it goes here, it hits another wave, it hits tower, bounces back, wave, 6 waves, 30 seconds a wave. I mean, carry can't touch that lane forever. Ezreal, I've applauded Red Team's vision a lot this game. Starting to falter a little bit. The biggest thing I saw is Ezreal walked all the way up here through dark to farm a lane where he doesn't really have pressure to take tower. Pretty questionable. I wouldn't have gone for that play.
I think there's one of those moments where they feel so strongly far ahead in the lead that it could start to get to their head, and that's how they could potentially throw the game.
Gold lead's thrown. It's going away.
5k gold lead. I mean, they still have a potentially superior team composition for fighting, but...
Right. So this is the guy who played Jax. If anybody is around for last Bronze Boot Camp, we had a good time with that. But he's kind of doing the same thing we talked about last time. Really want not to take teleport. Tryndamere Ghost is nice for mobility, Flash is nice for escape, and Flash crit with an auto can be really good on carries late game. But Boots did the same on Jax. I don't know a champion in League of Legends that skips Boots. They're a pretty big deal. I would just buy them. If you really want to know why, I don't even know why too. I mean, you want the movement speed and they have useful stats and they're not incredibly expensive, but it might be something good for forwards to cover. Maybe right into Forwards podcast. The info is on TrinityForcePodcast.com.
Jeez.
Another, it's 3k now.
Yeah.
I mean,
not using the vision, not going for objectives here. Like, they've got down all the outer towers. I'm actually rather surprised that they haven't just kind of grouped up to force one of the inner towers, and that with Dragon up, that they kind of just let themselves waffle around the lanes there.
So one thing I want to talk about was the Rek'Sai is always getting baited by Poppy. Rek'Sai is just really squishy. They're all running. They're just running in one by one. Like that's the biggest issue that's going on right here. And they're not picking fights; they're playing on objectives. But the thing I want to talk about, I talked about it last game, and it's one of my issues that I've had to correct as a player, and just lazy habits mid game. So I don't know. A lot of people can do a lot of things really well. I'm pretty good at CSing early game. But I noticed in my CS, I could stay similar to a challenger level player during my first season. Just, I don't know, hitting 95% of my CS, but at 30 minutes it'd fall really far behind. I was kind of burning waves out and I was being really lazy and just hitting them and not focusing like I would in lane phase, and that's a lazy habit. Another lazy habit is warding out really well in lane phase and not warding mid game. A plotted red team a lot really looks bad, and if you look at inventory buys, blue team actually has more wards in their inventory, and their vision on the map is actually better. And like, if you were to draw a theme, or take anything away from this, or do a trend line, or whatever you want to call it, the team that has had more vision has been the team that's been winning that portion of the game. So red team had a lot more vision early game, and they won that portion of the game. Blue team now has more vision, and they've won the last 5 to 8 minutes. I mean, they've decreased their gold lead quite a bit.
Oh, Trendamere got himself all.
Oh, the crit. Ooh, I don't know why you waste flash there. So don't waste flash when you're dead, or have a plan when you flash. So this game's pretty close in gold. If anyone in chat wants to make some predictions at which team is going to win, or which team comes back. I know that we lost some people because kind of some confusion between games, but let us know. See if Cracksaw can put the carry pants on once again.
Yeah, because this is coming down to it. I'm really surprised that red team wasn't able to close it out sooner, but they weren't focusing objectives and they let their vision slack. But blue team might be sticking around too long.
Oh, all right, Kobe.
Go! Don't call a penalty. He was double dribbling right there.
Yeah, double dribble.
Oh, that's gonna be Baron. Yeah, Andrew, we have not forgotten you. You are still here and interacting.
Yeah, he'll get a little bit of that Kobe in 5 seconds. The good old stream delay.
Beaver calls Kobe in all chat. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is the type of decision making that they needed to do earlier to close it out. They got kills, they went straight to Baron. But wait.
Additional carry, I believe, in Crack Salad. We'll see. Interesting fight. Good Morgana bind actually, but I don't know how much it will do.
Wow, Warring King is really coming in.
He remembered to use his locket. Alright, somebody make a gif of that, and I'm gonna call that gif, "This is why Locket is better than Banner."
And also at the same time, get a gif of that Morgana bind missing Rek'Sai and just entitle it Pixels.
Pixels.
That missed by Pixels.
Interesting. Ezra's got the PT. Really, I haven't seen Scrying Orbs out of any of the 80 carries in these games, which is kind of a little frustrating.
That was a really bold Baron steal, and that put them in the gold lead now.
I like the Home Guard Rek'Sai ult. That's actually pretty cool. But they got a really good engage. Same thing, not having lazy habits. You came back into the game because you guys were generally grouping and playing on your vision better than you had been early game. Then you just took a really greedy play with Baron buff where your team pushed and Poppy and Trendamere just like AFK'd. Poppy took a blue buff and Tryndamere split pushed the lane. Not a big fan.
Now, where Tryndamere was right there in the split pushing and then came back.
He should have just kept split pushing.
That's what I was about to ask, because there was no way he's going to get back in time to defend the tower. Now, Poppy was able to extend the life of the tower quite a bit there by making them all chase her, but you're just throwing life away.
So, as Ezreal in team fights, you really want to be putting W on people. Like, right here, you W. His stacks just dropped. Really, really, like, good Ezreal's auto-attack a lot, and they're really good at keeping their stacks up. He has, like, one of the best steroids of any AD carry. 50% attack speed. That's, like, almost a Phantom Dancer on his passive. All game. And, like, you just have to, I don't know, be nitpicky and make sure you're Wing people when it's off, dropping off cooldown and so on and so forth. Don't play him like a Q-bot. His passive is way too broken to be a Q-bot. Ooh, the Arcane Shift. The Lantern. I think Ezra really should have paid attention. I think if he would auto probably once or twice there, she was that. Oh, Rek'Sai, you're letting them back into the game by doing this. I mean, he got this kill and he'll get 2 kills, but he's got burned by chasing a lot. I almost don't like that play just because of how bad it's gone previously. Good Lantern out of Thresh. I really stress that a lot. Thresh has been nerfed a lot of times. He's still good, but like Lisa and like Thresh, like Zed, when a high skill cap champion gets nerfed, you have to like start to play them close to that skill cap to play them at an effective level. And if you're somebody who plays Thresh a lot, and let's say you are pretty good at hooks, you're pretty good at E, you kind of know how to drop box. If you don't W, he's a bad champion. Like that's such an integral part of his kit. It's pretty big. Alright, so Dragon out of red team. There'll be 4 dragons here, so they don't have to press too hard. One, they could group, especially if Xerath had blue, although I don't think they'll have blue anytime soon. But 2, oh, you.
Whoa.
So you really need to like watch the mini-map and pay attention to your team and hit tab. Thresh recalled there. Wasn't a bad recall by Thresh. Just got Dragon, refreshing his Sightstone, getting back to get things, so on and so forth. What do you do though? Like, do you engage? Not a big fan. I don't know, you just really need to, like, in solo queue, everyone won't listen to your calls. You're a completely random person, they've never met you. Ooh, alright. I don't guess that's too free to call Kobe. But they might not listen to your calls. The best thing you can do is just to be on the same page. So if somebody recalls, recall. If somebody fights, fight. Unless it's like complete suicide. One of the biggest differences between high elo and low elo, as far as recalls go, is if you watch a high elo game or an LCS game, people recall together, especially after stuff like Dragon Interference. Recall's a team, everyone comes back as a team. Don't be so greedy.
The buddy system, just like you were taught when you were kids.
Exactly. No problem.
Oh.
He didn't travel. Trent. He wants a similar build to this on Jax. How many Devour stacks? In the Bronze Bootcamp game we casted, this Tryndamere is playing Jax, and he got to like 70 minutes, and he had 130 damage on his Devourer.
That sounds painful.
Yeah, he's really fed too. Man, if you flash, you could have killed Ezreal. If you ghost, you could have killed Ezreal. Really, really want this guy to stop taking TP. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Good job by red team, just using their Glory and Malphite trying to engage. Unfortunately, Vladimir got away, but... do they flash us? No. They're flashed, I guess. See, Makai can effectively flash Q Vladimir out of pool, but that wasn't really an option for them. That was well played. Really, watching these passive stacks in, she's keeping 5, that's better. But there's some GA, this is not the Jacks.
I mean, he hasn't finished his build yet. He could still get
yeah,
a Bloodthirster
this
and
is
GA.
the Jacks. That's such an epic game. Everyone in chat was taking bets on what he's gonna build next. Oh, buddy. Buddy. Rip. Alright, so really, both teams are really starting to get lazy with wards, and 2, like, I don't know. I just really don't like how they're playing the map. Really, a lot of greedy plays. So, Makai's played really well though. I really respect how many wards he's got, how selfless he's been in his build, and his scoreline's amazing. I'm actually really impressed with Makai and his Dash. Dash just has a lot of good lanterns, and I like me some good lanterns. Like that. Thank you for proving my point, Thresh.
He knew.
That he knew.
He wanted you to notice him, Senpai.
It's good. An upgraded sweeper on Thresh. Upgrading totems besides the Thresh. I mean, Ezra on Lucian. Really would like to see those, but we'll see. Vladimir going haunting guys. I really don't like this. You can't. I hate to say absolutes because there's going to be an exception to this rule. 99% of the time, if you're playing a 5-item AP carry, you need Void Staff. So you really want Void Staff. You're not, guys. Important. They have Locket. 3 Spirit Visage and a Locket. Probably need Void Staff.
Oh, jeez. Vladimir stuck his head a little too far out there.
At least he got ult down. Sometimes stuff happens. Just remember to press your ultimate. Let's see if Crack Salad can clean up as much as chat thinks he can. Really don't like his build. Did he even know? No. If he had Q assist, that fight could have gone a lot better. He got CC'd initially really long. I don't like the choice of GA. I think Q assist is the item he'd want to build this game. But good job by Crack Salad to get Elixir. A lot of things to talk about in all these games, but it's kind of a recurring thing. When Baron's going to be contested, or when you're going for a game-winning push, or you're sitting at weird buys mid-game and you need a power spike, don't be afraid to buy the Elixirs. The Blue Run, Wrath, Sorcery, and Iron are all really strong. I wouldn't recommend Rune. I think sometimes people get it on Shen, but the rest of them are pretty good.
I think Andrew's point here that Thresh and Naoka are showing a good example of what it looks like to carry without being in the traditional damage carry roles.
Yeah, alright, so the person in chat who is talking about not liking math, you may not like this speech I'm about to give, but you'll deal with it. So, statistically, if you think about carrying a game, you think, there's probably a 70 to 90% chance you're going to win. Because you're carrying, you're really fed and you're doing really well. Alright, like 70-90% is pretty ridiculous if you think about it at the end of the day. Let's say you have 55% win rate. Is that carrying? No, that's playing above average. Well, if you play 100 games with solo queue at 55% win rate, you went 55 and 45. That's 10 net wins. That's about 2 divisions in 100 games, which is decent pace. Like, don't really, I don't know, carry's such a bad word to use. You just need to play above average to ladder. You don't need to be greedy, you don't need to screw your teammates, you just gotta do your job. Wow. Alright, looks like red team just won. We're gonna go back and look at this team fight, because watching them clear base isn't gonna be the most interesting thing in the world. So, I want to see this 5th dragon here. I just stepped back a lot, but this will be good for us to break down as a stream. So, we see 5th dragon is up. I'm gonna pause the game for a second. Look at the vision at a blue team. Not good. Can't see it. They should know 5th dragon is coming up because they have they heard the sound and they saw 4th dragon buff. So what I'm looking for here is I want to see pings saying, yo guys, 5th dragon is up. I see a ping on Thresh, but that's not the best. So let's see if we see any of those pings out of blue team. No, so like this kind of comes down to timing objectives. Really want to time it. This is really bad that this is happening. People are kind of wandering in and Vladimir awards it, but not good. So they take 5th dragon. So the team takes 5th dragon and they're running at you. You don't know whether Makai is glory or not, but they have a lot of move speed in general. So what you probably want to do here is stall, wave clear. You don't have the best wave clear, but picking a fight probably isn't what you want to do. Especially considering you're Trendemir's bot lane, and he's the one who really needs to be aware of this dragon. So fight starts with the Poppy Hook. And this is the big thing. So they had all these people to cheese a bush, but this is the engage they got. Xerath only has a Vladimir ult and he's out of threat. Sorry for hearing the game sound. Ezreal's here and there's no threat on him at all. And not having engage, I've talked about it a few times, but it can be a pretty big issue. And Poppy's gonna go in. Gets Thresh, but Thresh probably isn't the priority target she wants to be going for. Also, neither of them A-clipped that bush, but please attack them quick. And then, like, their team just got melted by Xerath and Ezreal. Really well played to them, but not sure why. 1, they didn't ward 5th dragon. 2, they picked that fight. And 3, Trendemir, you need to be there. So, well played to them. It should be cleaning up. GG.
Trying to think of what else to touch on there. I mean, like you said, just watch out that you don't form bad habits, and if you're warding really good early game, like red team did, don't slack off when you get the mid game. Keep that vision up. That'll help you close it out sooner.
Yeah. All right. So Junior has 5 boots, but I mean the game was already over. So
yeah.
Alright, so Rex, I will answer your question in a second. I actually think there's a lot you could have done as a jungle. So, we'll pull up advanced details. Usually after the game, for those of you who are new, we give each person a couple things to work on. And if you want additional coverage, feel free to add Horse Doctor or Leshok in game. Or just ask questions in stream chat if you have anything like super specific. Otherwise, I usually go over general stuff or what I noticed. But I have a pretty good attention to detail. I've played chess competitively for a long time, so I can usually recall like 95% of what happened in a game that I just watched. So, looking at both teams, stealth wards purchase, kind of the big one I look for. I'm starting to stress this more lately because if you don't have any stealth wards purchased, that means you didn't ward without your trinket before level 9. Not good to do mid lane. You really need to not have a goose egg in this column as a mid laner. 80 carry is kind of okay, so Lucian Ezreal, it's, yeah. Vladimir 1 isn't the best. Did he go warding totem? Yes, yeah, so 1. At least 1, you can't have 0. And wards killed, this is a really, really rough stat for me. A jungler only having 3, and 8 is a little better, but if you're smiting raptors 24/7 and you have a sweeping totem, your count should be in double digits. So, watch raptors, hit tab a lot. If you see wards in their inventory and then you see wards disappear in their inventory, do some detective work and figure out where their wards dropped. But people don't really pay attention to fog and low elo, and they just like walk up to you with wards and then they disappear with that, and they come back without wards, and they're just really obvious. But if you guys were, I don't know, pushing for masters or something, the talk would be a little different, but we're not. So, match overview, pretty good. Blue team came back a couple of times, and we'll look at the biggest throw. Was this, I don't exactly remember this fight, but it looks like a throw. So, really be careful for throws and vision.
Yeah, I felt like after they got that great Baron steal, blue team did, and pushed up, they just stayed way too long against a team that had a much harder engage than them.
Mm-hmm. So, Vladimir, really, I talked about you don't want to stand on the creep wave early when you play boots. You want to play off the wave. So, Xerath, He was pushing you into tower, bullying you. He was hitting you with harass, and he's hitting the creeps at the same time. Not what you want to be happening. Stand off the wave. With boots, force him to try and hit you. If he hits you, it sucks, but he didn't push the wave, and he has to still auto to CS. And that's where you'll get your good trades as Vladimir. If he misses, then he still has to auto to CS, but he missed his spell, and you can play really aggressively with the boots in kind of position. But standing on the wave against Xerath is kind of asking for a recipe disaster on a melee champion or a short range champion. Really want to keep your mid game farm up to. Don't be afraid to take wraiths and some other things. 208 CS is kind of low. And buying maybe 1 or 2 more greens and pinks. But you did an okay job. I also talked about you need a Void Staff as an 80 AP carry. They had 3 Spirit Vestiges and a Locket. That's pretty unacceptable. Other than that, I don't think your build is bad. You also could have finished an item quite a bit earlier. You had 3 components early game, which I wasn't a huge fan of. Don't be afraid to go Scepter's Cow against Xerath. Beaver. Some of your trades early against Makai were just really bad. And you died to the stereotypical jungle gank. And this is like what I call the most unacceptable jungle gank to die to. A gank top at 330. Because junglers have been doing that for 3 seasons. And that's the most predictable, like, obvious gank. His pathing wasn't particularly clever. No offense to you, Rek'Sai. But, I don't know. It's really free. He shouldn't have gotten that. Mid-game, CS struggled some. Just ulting in teamfight, too. Like, the last teamfight you guys lost, you focused Thresh. You weren't A-clicking the bush. There's certainly a lot to work on. But, played okay. Tryndamere. Really want to take Flash or Ghost. Smite Raptors a lot more. Your vision control really struggled. Try and gank more and be on the map more. Don't lead with Skirmisher Sabers on ganks. Shouldn't be going double Zeal item in your build. Even if you don't go Mercury Treads, if you're getting CC that much, Zephyr's a really strong item. I play a lot of Tryndamere mains in ranked, sadly. But I see a lot of Zephyr, 4th or 5th item. What else did I see out of trend? I don't know. I think that's enough for him to work on. Crack Salad. Blue Trinket upgraded really, really late into the game. Would have liked to see Quicksilver Sash much earlier too. Playing the Makai Xerath QSS is going to give you that magic resist. It's going to give you a way to deal them and cleanse with them. It's just a really strong item. QSS that. Early game, lane was tricky. Sometimes I just don't agree with how the Morgana played lane a lot, but played pretty well. I think that's a good amount of stuff to work on. Just, it was mostly build. I honestly think he played pretty well. Build and Warding Totem. Do you notice anything for Lucian? No. Alright. So
I can't think of anything directly. I mean, I felt Lucian did play really well. There were some times that I was like, oh, geez, he just dashed really into the fight. But at the same time, he got himself out of the fight. So I can't critique that too hard.
Mm-hmm. So Morgana, item buys, your team really struggled. Lucian probably shouldn't have had to get QSS. Pretty obvious Mikhail's game. Your team also didn't have anybody else who could build Locket. You're playing Xerath Maokai, you really need that Locket. Really, really greedy build. As a support, you just want to support your team. You're not going to carry as Morgana support. You will carry if you get Mikhail's and your team like wins fights, but you're not going to carry by building Abyssal. So, in lane phase too, like, you really want to use Spell Shield more effectively against Thresh, and you just kind of want to auto the Ezreal out harder. You and Crack Salad had a really big CS lead, and you were a lot stronger for a while, but you didn't eventually do a lot with it. Lucian should be getting Black Shields in team fights with knock guys on him too. It's pretty unacceptable for Crack Salad, and that's one of the reasons I didn't burn Crack Salad a lot, but he really had to deal with a lot that he shouldn't have had to deal with. I mean, if Crack Salad had Black Shields and Mikhail's, this was a different game. Maokai played really well. I was really impressed with the warding. I was really impressed with the item buys. It stayed a little long with your team a couple of times, and I don't want to give you a cop out. I hate to not give somebody a lot of advice, but I mean, you played good, my man. I'm going to review the MVP for Battle Arena this week, and Maokai is certainly a candidate. Impressive game. And Trinity Force, we love our Maokai tops. Xerath really would like to see the Warding Totem upgraded. Played really greedy without buying any green wards before level 9. And didn't push your advantage that hard. You hit your 2-item power spike way before Vladimir. And you guys just didn't do a lot with it. A lot of greedy chasing. A lot of stuff you probably shouldn't have done. Also, ask Rek'Sai for blue. I don't think he should have taken so many blues. When you go sight to unlock it, and your mid lane has like a kill on Morello's on them as soon as Xerath did, I think the game could have been a lot cleaner if Xerath had gotten blue. The randoms isn't a support item, and neither is Spirit Visage. Second locket isn't bad. Sometimes you won't get the shield on everybody, and sometimes auras won't overlap. Strong item, Mikhail's is also a really strong item. Useful against Tryndamere slow. Useful against Morgana Bind. And Morgana Bind was kind of the comeback mechanism. Picks, we talked about that a bit, so I really would like to see Mikhail's in this game. Other than that, you played pretty well. I really liked the Lantern usage, and you had a good score. Was Jack's MVP last week? Sure. He did get 130 Devourer stacks. I've never seen that before. Rek'Sai. Alright, so Rek'Sai wanted some feedback. Really good early game, really impressed. Played Rek'Sai's win conditions almost perfectly, and he snowballed the game really hard. Where things went bad were mid-game. Think you could have smited Raptors a lot more. He sat on wards a lot. I don't like the Mobies by 18 minutes. I think if you would have gotten Ninja Tabbies, you would have been a lot tankier on this team. And you really need to hold yourself back when you're chasing. A lot of the fights you were running through at targets that had 10 or 20% health, and they just kited you out and killed you. And in all honesty, most of your team's throws were initiated by you. So really be careful with that. Remember when you're fighting in the jungle too, you really need to attack, move quick in bushes. And when you have a sightstone, you need to be warding the bushes you're fighting in and out of, so you're not losing auto attack time. A lot of fights I watched, you weren't using health pot. Health pot over 15-second fight is a ruby crystal. And a lot of fights you died in were really close. So a lot of just nitpicky things like that, using health pots, not chasing as hard, smiting raptors. But your early game was pretty impressive, and that's kind of why your team did so well. So kudos. Ezreal, CS and lane was really rough. Really need to make sure you're keeping passive stacks up on Ezreal. Like I talked about in game, it's 50% attack speed buff. That's almost a Phantom Dancer. That is more than a recurve bow and a half. I mean, it's incredibly strong passive. It's easy to keep up. It lasts 6 seconds. You can W teammates. You can Q. You can also ult in the beginning of a fight and instantly get 5 stacks. It's pretty useful. I like the BT second. I said that in game, so it was nice to see it. Defensive build for sure, but your team was doing well enough you could get away with it. Look at Scrying Orb as an AD carry. Not having Scrying hurt your team some here. You had to face check a little more than you needed to or wanted to, but could have gotten 1 or 2 more pink wards as well. But CS is the biggest thing. Like as an AD carry, if you hit item breakpoints slowly, you can put yourself in a really difficult position. If you're interested in learning how to CS, my CS guide on YouTube is actually pretty good. I'll put a link to it in chat. Let me pull it up. So
yeah, I really liked.
my name
is this your 10 steps to improving guide?
Yeah, it's 10 steps to improving CS. If you're in battle, I don't know. Like I struggled to do step 9 in that, and I had 2 Masters players, a Diamond 1 player myself, and 2 other Diamond players try the guide. Step 9 is difficult. Like if you can get to step 8, step 9, step 10, and do really well, your elo is gonna go up fast. Like fast. I mean, CS is the hardest thing to practice, and it sucks unless you practice. But like, if there's a penis pill for elo, last tilling and warding, and using timers, like, they don't take a ton of time to improve. You don't have to grind a ton of games to improve it. You just have to nitpick and get into customs and do the work. But biggest thing out of everyone on red team, and I broke it down in the replay, you can go to the end of the game, the fight that lost you guys the game, you're coming back and the throw is really what cost you. So I would go back and look at that. I think I did a decent job of breaking it down. The biggest issue was you guys heard 4th dragon. You knew it was their 4th dragon because you could click them, you could see 3rd dragon, then you could see 4th dragon afterwards. 5th dragon wasn't timed. It's like unexcusable, and that's the worst way to lose a game. So really, like, please do that in the future. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask Horse Doctor, Leshok. If you have any comments or concerns, feedback at Trinity Force Podcast. The VODs will be available on YouTube. Search Trinity Force, and they're available right away on Twitch. Just check past broadcasts. Hope everybody enjoyed Battle Arena. And also, go to the Reddit. Check out the Dungeons and Dragons. I'll go there. Leshok wants some more people for games, and it's a lot of pretty fun stuff. So
yeah, and also don't forget that the Reddit is a great source for asking for opinions and advice as well, and also the T-Force chat in the actual client.
So if you're interested in the D&D RPG sessions, the post here is pretty good. And remember to stop in for Bronze Boot Camp Saturday at noon Eastern Time. If you didn't play as well as you wanted to, and you're at Silver 5 and below, we'll be doing another RP card giveaway. So take the stuff you learned today, apply it, and I hope to see you guys there. Any closing thoughts?
No, everyone did great. Keep on working, keep on improving, keep on listening. Thanks for being here, and come back next week.